Cain Velasquez just got sentenced to 5 years in prison. But if that headline made your jaw drop, buckle up, because the full story is way messier, way more emotional, and honestly, kind of infuriating. This isn't just some fighter, gone rogue moment. This is a heavyweight legend caught in a broken justice system, and somehow, the guy who allegedly did the worst thing imaginable, he's still out there walking free. Here's the deal. Back in early 2022, Cain found out that a man named Harry Goularte, someone connected to a daycare run by Cain's family, was accused of molesting his child. The horror of that alone is enough to send anyone into a rage. But what sent Cain over the edge was the fact that Goularte was released on bail. Not convicted yet, no jail time, just back in public like nothing happened. So Cain did what nearly every parent secretly fantasizes about in their darkest moments. He hunted him down. Cain chased a car carrying Goularte through the streets of California. But here's the kicker. Goularte wasn't alone. His stepfather, Paul Bender, was in the car too. Cain pulled a gun and fired into the vehicle. He didn't hit Goularte, he hit Bender. That moment changed everything. Suddenly, this wasn't just a story about revenge. It became reckless endangerment, assault with a deadly weapon, attempted murder. The narrative flipped, from Cain the protector to Cain the felon. The MMA community, though, they didn't flip, they doubled down. Fighters like Khabib, Daniel Cormier, Michael Chiesa, Darren Till, all of them posted support. Free Cain became a movement. It wasn't just about him. It was about how predators seem to get slaps on the wrist while everyone else gets the book thrown at them. The outrage was raw, personal, and honestly, completely understandable. The prosecution wanted Cain behind bars for 30 years to life. That's what they were pushing for. Let that sink in. 30 years. For trying to stop a man accused of abusing a child. But in the end, Cain got 5 years. Which still sounds like a lot, until you realize he's already served more than 3 of them. 283 days to be exact. That means he'll likely serve just a little over a year more in prison. Is it fair? Is it justice? Depends on who you ask. But in terms of what he could have received, this was about as good as it gets. Still, there's a reason Cain didn't walk away free. He didn't just confront Goularte. He didn't wait for the guy to be alone. He didn't plan it cleanly. He opened fire on a busy street, sprayed bullets into a moving vehicle, and he hit the wrong guy. That's not just vigilante justice. That's a public safety nightmare. If someone had died, this story would have ended very differently. And honestly, Cain would probably be doing life right now. And yet, here's the part that pisses people off the most. The man Cain was trying to stop, Harry Goularte, is still out on bail, still not convicted, still not serving time, still just out there. That's where the fury comes from. That's why Free Cain isn't just some hashtag. Because for millions of people, the real crime wasn't Cain's reaction. It was the system that forced him to react that way in the first place. This isn't just a Cain Velasquez story. This is a Western justice system story, one where the line between right and legal keeps getting blurrier. You've got people going to jail over memes, over words, over what pronouns they use. But predators, abusers, they're getting slaps on the wrist. If that doesn't make your blood boil, you might want to check your pulse. Cain's case highlights everything that feels upside down about the way we handle serious crimes. He didn't snap for clout. He didn't do this out of ego or pride. He did it because he was a father first and a fighter second. And yeah, he went too far. He knows that. That's why his legal team didn't fight the sentence tooth and nail. They knew this was the best outcome possible. 5 years sounds harsh, but with time served, it's basically the legal system's way of saying, we can't let you off, but we get it. Now, the question is, what comes next? Cain's still got time to serve, but support from the MMA community hasn't faded. If anything, it's grown stronger. People are donating. Fighters are speaking out. Daniel Cormier has reportedly helped the Velasquez family financially. AKA, the gym Cain came from, is treating this like a mission, rallying behind their guy like it's a title fight. And let's be real, when Cain gets out, his story won't be over. Far from it. There's a whole second chapter waiting. Maybe he returns to the spotlight in a different way. Maybe he becomes an advocate for families failed by the justice system. Maybe he disappears from the public eye altogether. But whatever happens, this won't be forgotten, not by the fans, not by the sport, and definitely not by any parent who's ever imagined what they'd do in his shoes. This wasn't justice. This was damage control. The system couldn't ignore what Cain did, but it also couldn't ignore why he did it. That middle ground is ugly. It doesn't feel like closure, but maybe it's a start. So what do you think? Did Cain Velasquez deserve prison time? Or did the system fail the very people it's supposed to protect? Again, one thing's for sure. This wasn't just another MMA headline. This was a heavyweight war outside the cage. And somehow, even behind bars, Cain Velasquez still walked away with a win.